Okay, welcome back, students. In this video, I want to go ahead and talk to you again or continue the discussion on scientific notation and specifically talking about how we divide numbers that are written in scientific notation. All right, so again, let's go ahead and recall some general rules that we need to keep in mind as we engage this discussion. So the first thing that you got to remember is you got to remember that the M factors are going to be divided in this process, okay? And then the second thing that you need to remember here is that the exponents are going to be subtracted. And so let's kind of look at some examples here of what we mean. Generically, what this really means here is going to be the following. So let's say that we have two numbers. Generically, let's just say it's like this. Let's say that you have some number n, and you're going to multiply this times 10 to the a power, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to divide this number by some number m times 10 to the, say, b power. What's the general formula that we're going to use to do this? Well, the way we do this is the following way. And so normally we would write it this way. Another way that you can write it would be underneath as a fraction. But the overall process here that we're going to use to evaluate this is going to be the following. One, we divide the m factors, which is going to be this, n divided by m. And then we're going to take this to the power, where we're going to say times 10 to the power of a minus b. And so this here is the general formula that you're going to use if you want to kind of use a mathematical way of understanding this. But let me go ahead and provide you a general example. Okay, so let's say that we have the following example here. Example of 4.00 times 10 to the fifth. And we're going to go ahead and divide this by 2.5 times 10 to the negative 7. And we want to know, what is this number? Well, recall from the previous lesson that the m factors here are right here. This is your m factor for that number, and this is the m factor for that number there. And then the exponent, which I'm just going to abbreviate once, is the portion here and the portion there. Specifically looking at the actual numbers up top, okay? And so what we're going to do here is kind of go and solve this using the process that we've got here. And so what we want to do is use the process, and so we're going to do this. We are going to take this number, we're going to take the n number, which is 4.00, we're going to divide that by 2.5, and then we're going to take this to the power of times 10 to the power of a, in this case is 5, minus, and notice here, don't be tricked, notice that the b number here is a negative 7, you have to put minus 7, and that should give us some number that we've got. Now, mathematically, whenever you're subtracting a negative number, keep in mind that this number actually is going to wind up being positive, because a negative 1 times a negative 7 will give you positive 7. And so what winds up happening here is, let's just scratch this, this becomes 5 plus 7. And if we simplify that further, we know that that's going to be 12. And so what we're looking for here, in terms of another number, the next row here of simplification, we're going to take that 4.0 and we're going to divide it by 2.5, which should give us 1.6 times 10, in this case to the 12. Okay? And so this here is your answer. In fact, let me put that in white. This is your answer for this particular problem. Notice at the bottom here the number of significant figures. Which is lower? Well, here in this case, we've got 3. And over here on the right-hand side with the 2.5 number, we've got 2 sig figs. So our final answer has to be reported to 2 significant figures. And that's kind of what we see here. So if you follow the general format, you'll notice that the format over here at the end is the process that we use to solve this. Okay? And so, folks, this is the way we go ahead and divide numbers using scientific notation. If you have any questions, see me in class. But keep watching, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video. Do not forget to subscribe.